The NBA's most stubborn star defies one of the most powerful executives. A promised $1.5 million in NIL money leads to some legal drama, and trade season continues to heat up during organizational change. I'm your host Kyle, and welcome to Front Office Files, where we break down the biggest business moves in basketball from the past week. From Miami's breaking point to college basketball's growing pains, let's dive into the money moves transforming the basketball landscape. Before we dive into our main stories, let's rapid fire through some notable moves from the past week. The NBA handed down significant penalties following the Heat-Rockets altercation. Rockets forward Amen Thompson received a 2-game suspension, while Miami's Terry Rozier got 1 game. Additionally, Jalen Green at $35,000, Tyler Hero at $25,000, and coach Ime Udoka at $50,000 were fined for their roles. Fred VanVleet separately received a $35,000 fine for making reckless contact with an official. This continues the league's strict approach to on-court incidents, prioritizing control over physical altercations that could damage the NBA's image. In a newsworthy shift for college athletics, Dartmouth's men's basketball players have withdrawn their unionization attempt. The team had made history in March, voting 13-2 to become the first unionized college sports program. The decision to withdraw comes amid changing leadership at the National Labor Relations Board, potentially impacting future attempts by college athletes to be classified as employees. This development arrived just months before the NCAA's planned transition to direct athlete compensation, highlighting the complex evolution of the college sports business model. The first NBA All-Star voting returns show interesting trends across both conferences. Nikola Jokic and Giannis Antetokounmpo lead their respective conferences, while Charlotte's LaMelo Ball surprisingly tops the East guards, suggesting his popularity might exceed conventional wisdom. A clear hierarchy has emerged among viable fan voting candidates. Remember, fans account for 50% of the vote to determine starters, with players and media each controlling 25%. Blake Griffin and Dirk Nowitzki are joining Taylor Rooks on Amazon's NBA coverage when their $20 billion package launches next year, part of the platform's aggressive move into sports broadcasting. The NBA's 10-day contract window opened January 5th, with 13 roster spots available league-wide. Keep an eye on G League standouts like Nazir Little from Sioux Falls, Jalen Noel with the Capital City Go-Go, and TJ Warren and Westchester. Our top story takes us back to Miami, where the Heat just suspended Jimmy Butler for 7 games after what the team calls, quote, multiple instances of conduct detrimental to the team. This isn't just another player-team dispute. It's a high-stakes game of chicken between one of the NBA's most headstrong stars and its most uncompromising executive.
You think this is something? You think this is bad? This chicanery? He's done worse.
The numbers here are staggering. First, each game of the suspension will cost Butler $336,543, totaling $2.35 million over 7 games. But the real stakes are much higher. Butler has a $52.4 million player option for next season, and this power play could just determine not just his future in Miami, but potentially his last shot at a max contract. The timing here represents a dramatic shift in Miami's stance. On December 26th, the stoic Pat Riley released a statement saying, "We don't usually comment on rumors, but all this speculation has become a distraction to the team and it is not fair to the players and coaches. Therefore, we will make it clear, we are not trading Jimmy Butler." Just 9 days later, the Heat issued a complete reversal, announcing Butler's suspension and their willingness to listen to trade offers. This situation highlights the complexity of the NBA's new player participation policy. While teams previously could mutually agree to have disgruntled players stay home awaiting trades, The new rule only allows this in, quote, rare and unusual circumstances, as judged by the league office. Jimmy's status as an All-NBA second team selection in the 2022-23 season makes this particularly tricky, as the policy was specifically written with star players in mind. Making matters more complex, the Heat don't get any luxury tax relief from the suspension since it's team imposed rather than coming from the league office. They're still sitting about $13.1 million over the tax line and right at the second apron threshold. College basketball's NIL Wild West just got even wilder. 6 former Florida State players are suing head coach Leonard Hamilton over $1.5 million in promised but unpaid NIL money. Each player claims they were promised $250,000 in payments from Hamilton's business partners, money that never materialized. The details here read like a Hollywood script. Players allegedly boycotted practice before a Duke game in February. Hamilton discovered the plan and, according to the lawsuit, promised in a team film room meeting that the money would hit their accounts in the next week. The players suited up, lost to Duke 76-67, and still never saw a dime. This case is a microcosm of everything wrong with college sports' current NIL system. Coaches are making promises they can't guarantee. Boosters are talking big game but flaking on payments. And most critically, players are playing without actual contracts to protect their interests, creating a free agency system that apparently goes game by game. As one industry insider put it, try convincing boosters to actually write those checks when you start 6-6 and the guys you promised to pay are averaging single digits. The timing couldn't be more interesting. We're about 6 months away from the NCAA transitioning to direct athlete revenue sharing under the House Settlement Agreement. Cases like this show exactly why that shift from booster-based payments to institutional compensation is so crucial. As we approach the February 6th trade deadline, several fascinating storylines are developing. Leak sources indicate Indiana has emerged as a team to strongly watch in pursuit of Brooklyn's Cam Johnson. The forward $65.5 million contract through 2026-2027 season gives the Nets leverage to be selective, with industry expectations suggesting Johnson could command multiple first-round picks. Oklahoma City looms as a potential dark horse in these discussions after January 15th, when Aaron Wiggins and Isaiah Joe become trade eligible. The Raptors have thus far resisted mounting trade interest in Jakob Poeltl. However, they're actively shopping Bruce Brown Jr.'s expiring $23 million contract and Kelly Olynyk's team-friendly deal. De'Aaron Fox's future in Sacramento commands attention, with the Spurs emerging as the most aggressive potential suitor. While the Kings remain resistant to initial trade discussions, Fox's contractual timeline mirrors Cleveland's position with Donovan Mitchell last season, creating mounting pressure for a resolution. As we move deeper into 2025, several major stories are developing. January 7th marks a pivotal date as Zion Williamson's $36.7 million salary, among other player contract guarantees, trigger, potentially catalyzing the trade market. Phoenix faces decisions with Yusuf Nurkic, while the Pelicans balance Brandon Ingram's trade value against their urgent need to duck under the luxury tax line. These interconnected storylines should drive market activity as we approach the February 6th deadline. The next NBA All-Star voting update drops January 9th. Thanks for watching this episode of Front Office Files. If you enjoyed diving into the business side of basketball, make sure to like, comment, and share with someone who would enjoy breakdowns of the money moves behind the game. Subscribe to Basketball Business for more great content on the off-court moves that make the on-court plays. Until next time, this is Kyle with Basketball Business.